Hi guys, welcome to my 10 week postpartum vlog. I realized last week I said my pregnancy vlog. Oh yeah, I forgot that was happening. Isaac is having his saxophone lesson, so you'll be hearing that in the background. So last week I said pregnancy vlog. I'm not pregnant, thank God. It's way too early to get pregnant for me. I definitely want to wait a couple of years. I have a pipe cleaner on my finger. No real reason for that, just kind of happened. So it's been a really good week. We have been away, obviously. We've been on our RV trip, which ended up being one of the best holidays we've ever had. We arrived back in LA to Pandemonium House, which was amazing. It was actually really clean. Our cleaning lady had come when we were away, and it just was so great to get back into a beautifully clean home, and also space, because obviously the RV was so small, and but then all of our stuff from the RV just exploded everywhere, all over the house. The playroom, just clothes everywhere, dirty clothes pile. I felt like, you know those movies in the 90s where, Home Alone, I think it's the opening scene of the first one, and it's just like, kids everywhere, crazy, wow, they're trying to get to the airport or whatever, and they leave one of their kids behind. So that is what our house felt like. It was just kids and stuff and mayhem and washing and just organizing and all those sorts of things. So that's kind of been the last 2 days, which has actually been really nice, to be honest, because we've stayed at the house and hung out and jumped in the pool and just had lazy days, and bit by bit I've been sorting through things and getting the washing done and doing all the domestic stuff that you do when you have 4 children. But yeah, so what a beautiful journey. We started in, obviously, Los Angeles. We drove up to Santa Cruz, stayed overnight. We stayed in the KOA campgrounds, which are amazing, very kid friendly. I think I said that last week. And then went from Santa Cruz, which is cool. We took our bikes and rode our bikes around. We went to San Fran, met my friend Janelle, hung out with Janelle and her kids, spent the day there, ate at this amazing vegan restaurant in San Fran, and actually might be my favorite restaurant that we went to on the trip. It's called Shizen, all vegan Japanese, and the most incredible vegan sushi that you can imagine. There's gonna be a lot of that tooting. That's Izzy in the background. This is his 4th saxophone lesson, I think. And then we went from San Fran, we went to Portland, and we went up the Oregon coast, which was so beautiful. And then we went to Seattle. We spent the day in Seattle. We went to a bunch of little vintage clothing stores, and it's funny, my body does not work with vintage clothes. I tried on so many different cute dresses that I found, and it's like, it fits my boobs, my tummy, and then just like dangles off my shoulders. It just doesn't work. My shoulders don't fit in the vintage clothes for whatever reason. I tried on about 6 or 7 different dresses, and I was too small from like shoulder to bust, I assume. Like I must be like really squished and compact here, because this just doesn't fit into anything that was made in the 70s, 60s and 80s. But yeah, my mum bought a few things. The boys bought some cool vintage teas, and we got some bubble tea, and just walked around and tried out a couple of vegan restaurants. Hit the road again, went into Montana, which was so beautiful. I had absolutely no idea how gorgeous Montana would be, and we stayed at this place called Sage Lodge. It's kind of like a dude ranch, and I think we probably were the only vegans to have ever stayed there. It was quite funny. I mean, on the things to do list, it was like hunting and fly fishing and all the things that we don't do. And it was funny. We were laughing about it, but we really enjoyed it. The nature was gorgeous. The hotel staff were amazing. And one of the activities that they did offer at the hotel was white water rafting, which we did. And it was epic. But I made the mistake of, I just have hardly ever pumped with my babies. I don't love pumping. I don't like the sensation. I sometimes feel like I'm a milked cow. And it really irritates me, the noise. And I know there's some amazing pumps these days, breast pumps these days, but I've never really had a great experience pumping. So I've always just had my baby with me. So typically I just nurse. But this is the first time I was going to be away from her for a 3.5 hour period. They're our friends have just arrived. It's all happening at the Palmer household right now. So what happened was we were getting picked up at 9 a.m. to go walk white water rafting with Isaac and Bodhi, because the minimum age is 5. And my mum was staying back at the ranch with Poet and Forrest. So I fed her right up until the last minute and figured she'd just sleep, everything would be cool. I call my mum right as we were like lifting the boat down to get on the water. And I was like, are you all good? Are you holding it down? You know, we haven't quite hit the water yet. It's going to be another 2 hours. Then we're going to get back and get changed and get back to the ranch. And I couldn't hear her because Poet was in the background screaming. And so I guess the phone, me ringing, had actually woken her up and she wanted to breastfeed, which isn't usually how it works. And so of course I spent pretty much the majority of the trip in the boat thinking about Poet and has mum got her back down again and is everything okay? And oh gosh, I should have bought a pump. I should have got her used to the bottle. And of course she was absolutely fine. By the time we got there, I raced in, but it was just like a series of events that kept happening. Hi, babes.
Hi.
You can come.
Here.
I know. You can come down if you want. You can come and wave hello to people in my vlog. This is my friend Daniel.
Hi.
Hi. I'm doing a Your Zen Mummy vlog. This is Daniel. He's a meditation guru, aren't you? Oh, you smell so good. What is that palette?
It's a bunch of just urban hippie stuff.
Oh, it's so
good?
hippie and urban.
Oh, good.
I really love it.
Yeah, it's something, it's Caroline told me about one Palo Santo thing, but then I have some other oils.
It smells amazing.
It's good.
But you always smell like that.
Thank you.
You do. So I was just talking about how I went on this white water rafting trip.
Oh, yeah.
And I breastfed right before I left, but I didn't pump and leave my mum any milk.
Okay.
So then what happened was I got back and Poet was in the arms of the manager at the hotel because my mum had just had enough. She had just pieced out. She was with Forrest. And Poet was in this manager's arms and the manager's like, oh, I've just got her back to sleep. I race in there, I grab her, put her on the boob, and meanwhile my boobs had literally enlarged in size. I'd say they were 4 times the size they were when I left. And it meant that I ended up getting mastitis. Do you know what mastitis is?
No, tell me.
It's just basically you get a breast infection. And so because I didn't nurse, I ended up with this terrible case of mastitis. It actually wasn't terrible. It was totally mild. And so your boobs really ache. You wouldn't understand this, but here's some information for you. Your boobs get really achy and hot. And then you get a fever and it's terrible. And it feels awful, and my whole body was shaking. And the only way to get rid of mastitis is either you have to go on antibiotics if it's really bad, or your children just have to keep nursing through it. So that's essentially what I had to do, and I wrote about that in the blog. And by the way, since we're here, I might just say, Your Zen Mama is the sister site to Your Zen Life, which is a site I started before I had kids. And what has been happening is I have been dedicating most of my time to you guys over at Your Zen Mama. And so now it's just left the poor Your Zen Lifers wondering what's happening to the website. And luckily, Daniel actually came over today because we're going to be talking about how we're going to bring Daniel into Your Zen Life. I'm going to breathe life back into that site again. That is exciting. And he's the guru at all things meditation and conscious living. And if Mark and I get in a fight, it's really funny because Mark had a bit of a meltdown on the trip, which we talked about. Mark and I will be like, let's call Daniel.
That's very sweet.
We need to call Daniel.
That's very sweet. I'm always here.
He's here, guys. And he's a parent too.
I'm a dad. It's true.
All right, I'm going to go and talk to this guy. And I love you, and thank you for joining me. Mwah. See you later.
Bye.